Weddings are meant to be the pinnacle of joy, moments when families unite, vows are spoken, and lives begin anew. But in New Jersey, in the fall of 2001, a wedding day turned into a haunting mystery that continues to echo through time. The story of Melissa Grant is not remembered for music or laughter, but for a disappearance that left behind only silence, confusion, and an unsigned marriage license. It was supposed to be the happiest day of her life. 24-year-old Melissa Grant had spent months preparing for her September wedding. The church was decorated in white lilies, the pews filled with family and friends, and the groom, Daniel Harris, stood nervously at the altar, waiting. Moments before Melissa was set to walk down the aisle, she excused herself to the church dressing room, taking only her bouquet. The bridesmaids thought she was calming her nerves. The organist's prelude swelled, and guests rose in anticipation. But when the doors were meant to open, they remained shut. Melissa never appeared. Minutes stretched into panic. When her maid of honor rushed to find her, she discovered something chilling. Melissa's wedding dress crumpled on the floor of a bathroom stall. Her veil lay nearby, but there were no footprints, no signs of a struggle, and no witnesses. It was as though the bride had vanished into thin air. Police were summoned immediately. The dressing area and bathroom were searched with painstaking care, but there was nothing. No torn fabric, no blood, no clear evidence of escape or abduction. Guests were questioned, yet no one had seen Melissa leave. Her belongings, purse, phone, and car keys, remained in the dressing room. Only Melissa herself was missing. The image of her discarded wedding dress quickly became the centerpiece of the case, a haunting symbol of a celebration that had turned into a nightmare. The first suspect was obvious: the groom. Daniel Harris was questioned repeatedly. Investigators wondered if the stress of marriage had driven him to violence. Did he lure her away in a moment of cold feet and rage? Daniel denied everything, breaking down in interviews and insisting he had been waiting at the altar the entire time. Guests confirmed he never left his place at the front of the church. Still, suspicion lingered. Attention soon turned to Melissa's best friend, Emily Roberts, who had been both her confidant and maid of honor. Rumors whispered of jealousy. Emily had once dated Daniel briefly years earlier. Did old feelings resurface? Did she see Melissa's wedding as a betrayal? Police pressed her for answers, but no evidence connected her to the disappearance. The case grew colder with every passing week. Families feuded over theories. Melissa's relatives accused Daniel of hiding something, while Daniel's family insisted Melissa had second thoughts and staged her own vanishing act. The disappearance shattered both families. Melissa's parents held on to hope, keeping her room exactly as it had been, wedding gifts stacked in corners unopened. Daniel fell into isolation, insisting he was a widower without ever having been a husband. The wedding guests, too, carried scars. Many replayed the day endlessly in their minds. What had they missed? Did someone see a shadow, a movement, a detail that could have saved her? Theories flourished. Perhaps Melissa fled from pressure she couldn't handle. Perhaps she was abducted by a stranger lying in wait. Or perhaps someone close to her orchestrated her vanishing with precision. Months later, investigators discovered a grainy security tape from a convenience store across the street from the church. On it, at the approximate time Melissa vanished, a woman resembling her was seen hurriedly leaving the church grounds and stepping into a black car. The driver's face was never captured. The license plate was obscured, but the tape reignited the case. Was Melissa a willing passenger, escaping her own wedding? Or was she coerced, guided by someone she trusted or feared? The revelation deepened the mystery. If Melissa had chosen to leave, why abandon her dress and veil? Why disappear so completely, never contacting friends or family? If she was forced, who had the access and daring to snatch her from a crowded church without anyone noticing? Years passed, and Melissa never reappeared. No body was found, no bank accounts touched, no calls made. Birthdays and anniversaries ticked by like shadows. The unsigned marriage license remained locked away at the courthouse, a ghostly reminder of vows never spoken. Detectives rotated through the cold case, reopening files, chasing tips, and interviewing former guests. Nothing broke the silence. To this day, Melissa Grant exists only in photographs, smiling, alive, forever 24, and in the haunting memory of a wedding day gone dark. The The disappearance of Melissa Grant became folklore in New Jersey. Wedding planners whispered the tale to nervous brides, warning them about the bride who walked away. Journalists revisited the case every few years, labeling it one of the state's strangest unsolved mysteries. At weddings, some guests recall the story with unease, wondering how joy can collapse into tragedy within a single moment. The image of a white dress abandoned on cold tile remains one of the most chilling details in true crime history. For Melissa's family, the ache remains sharp. Her mother once said in an interview, "Every time I see a bride walk down the aisle, I wonder if Melissa is somewhere, watching too, wishing she could have finished her walk." What happened in those fleeting minutes before the ceremony? Did Melissa flee from fear, coerced by secrets no one knew? Was she stolen by someone who had planned her abduction with meticulous detail? Or was her disappearance the result of a desperate choice? To vanish, to start over, to leave behind the life she felt trapped by? Without answers, Melissa's story lingers in the uneasy space between love and loss, celebration and tragedy. Hers is a tale retold not as a fairy tale romance, but as a grim cautionary legend, a reminder that even the brightest days can hold the darkest secrets.